Okay, that this part going. Damn. Damn it. There's an ad. Still an ad. Jesus. Stupid thing. Get it together. You're fine. There we go. Hi, Dragon's Celt. Hi, Justin. Good morning, X. Hi, Josiah. Bernie, yeah. I love, oh my God. Tevin Campbell did not need to go this hard. Phantom, thank you for the gifted sub over there on Twitch. Good morning, Wild Yami. Even if I gotta shout out loud. There's nothing that I wouldn't do if it was getting you to notice. I've got whatever it takes. Even if I gotta shout out loud. Stand out, stand out. Yeah, 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 yeah. Good morning, good afternoon to those of you in the East Coast. Happy Friday, guys. I appreciate you being here, and I hope you have a wonderful start to your Friday so that it goes into a wonderful weekend. Babe, how dare you ask what we were listening to? That was Tevin Campbell or Powerline. Did you not watch the Goofy movie? What are we doing? You're a millennial. Oh, sorry. Just trying to write this out real quick, and then we can get started here. Okay. So yeah, no quesadillas for you? Never saw it. Guess what we're doing this weekend? Okay. Welcome in, everybody. I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure as you come in here on TikTok, you tap that screen, share the live out, do your daily heart me if you have not divorced. Do your daily heart me if you have not done so. Blue, I can't. I have the little rose goal up there that does help push us onto the algorithm. So if we could complete that, that would be great. I also have stuff left in my gift gallery. If you click on me, my little icon, and click the little C5 gift gallery, it'll show you what's lit up and what's not. If we could complete some of those today, try to finish it out, that would be fucking wonderful. No, Sparky. No. No. Also, guys, I have my 100 goal that I have every single day. Guys, this is my job. I do this for a living. I work hard to get these outlines for you to kind of try to structure. I know it's not always structured and I fly by the seat of my pants sometimes, but I try to structure an outline for you, a narrative in way of what is going on with this administration, how it is affecting the people. And how nothing beneficial is happening under this president right now for the American people. So I'd appreciate it if you could support me. If you want to call it that, Sparky, sure. So if you would like to contribute to the 100, I would appreciate it. The links are in my bio, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all of those lovely things. And you can write a message. Remember, any little bit helps keep the lights on here, so I appreciate that. If you cannot do that, please tap that screen. I have it set to 25,000. Oh, sorry, hold on. Here's your bar. I didn't connect it yet. Wait. There it goes. So that'll show you your progress on the like goal. I like to hit 50,000 likes before the top of the hour and then 100,000 total for the 2 hours that I'm on. You guys rocked the socks off that yesterday. We hit like 230,000, I think, almost 250,000 before I ended yesterday. So that I appreciate. Also, in my long spiel, I am multi-streaming. So I am over here on Twitch and YouTube. If you would like to go over there and follow and subscribe, or subscribe and become a member, that would be awesome. Again, thank you, Phantom, for the gifted sub over there on Twitch. And I see you guys, my loyal viewers. Twitch is kind of my calm space, more of a chill space for the people. But if you like the blood sport and you want to get in on the action, you can go and get in with some of the hate watchers. I have some very dedicated followers over there that are wonderful. And you guys see, I also have very dedicated hate watchers that watch every single day over there on YouTube, and you can interact with them as well. And we will get started here today. This changed. Hot cross buns. Hot cross buns. Hot cross buns. Okay. Let's get with this breaking news that we have. It looks like it's getting more and more confirmed. Originally, the reports were, what do you call it? Oh, what did I need to open that? Okay. Reporting from the Iranian government, which I wouldn't necessarily take as true. Now we're getting word that it looks like more and more of our officials are starting to confirm it. Hold on, I didn't fix my political sources. That would help. There we go. Okay. So, U.S. fighter jet went down over Iran, search and rescue mission underway, officials say. A search was underway Friday after a two-seater F-15 fighter jet went down over Iran, according to two U.S. officials. The U.S. military rescue mission follows hours of reporting by Iranian state media of a downed U.S. fighter jet. Iran's media published photos alongside claims from the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps that it had shot down the aircraft. The Pentagon and the White House did not immediately comment on the claims. The fate of those inside the jet was not immediately clear, but a regional governor in Iran's southwest issued a public plea for locals to find them and promised a reward. According to official and semi-official Iranian news organizations, a representative of merchants and businesses were reportedly offering the equivalent of $60,000. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said President Donald Trump had been briefed on the incident, the latest dramatic development in the war, now more than a month old. Then it's going to go into all of his things about that, but I'll show you some of the pictures that Iran supposedly had. Again, we'll find out. This is, again, the IRGC is claiming to be a second U.S. F-35 fighter jet that's destroyed. This demands obvious investigation into what's going on. So there is that in way of the news. But we'll take that and we'll go into Iran. So, because I didn't get to this portion yesterday. There are conversations constantly happening, especially by the Republicans, about NATO and our alliance with NATO. Now, the issue is that, again, I showed videos before of Trump and specifically Hegseth basically saying, like, hey, we did the heavy lifting on this in regards to the Strait, and we don't even really use it. I think it would be really great if the Other countries, the NATO countries that actually do the global market and use the strait, came in and cleaned up this mess that we caused. Now, of course, they're like, we're not going to do that. You didn't consult them on doing this, and now you want them to come and clean it up so you can just declare victory and walk away. Like, they don't want to do that. Who would want to do that? But here is our U.S. ambassador to NATO who says that we should rethink our alliance with NATO.
I think it is very clear right now that President Trump is evaluating and reevaluating everything, whether that is our involvement at NATO, whether that is our support to the European efforts in Ukraine, or whether that is anything else the United States is doing. I mean, President Trump was elected by the American people in order to bring an America First mindset to all of these situations. And he is, as commander-in-chief, gets to make many of these decisions. And so,
oh, we'll get into that, because when it comes to NATO, no, he doesn't. He doesn't get to unilaterally pull out of it. We have brought up the law that requires the Senate to actually be the ones to do that, not Donald Trump.
We're going to move out on his intent when he makes a decision. Right now, everything's on the table. Mm-hmm. I think it is very clear right
I love it. She has no clue what he's talking about. And then here is also the U.S. ambassador in regards to NATO saying that it needs to be a two-way street, our relationship with them. It does. And in the essence of it being a two-way street would be you actually giving them relevant information before you attack a sovereign nation. Probably be a good idea.
At the moment from President Trump, and I'll pull up a quote that he said earlier in an interview with The Telegraph. He said, oh, yes, I would say it's beyond reconsideration. That's the US potentially pulling out of NATO. I was never swayed by NATO. I always knew they were a paper tiger, and Putin knows that too, by the way. What are your thoughts, first of all, on how NATO has been there alongside the US in this, and what the future relationship might be?
Yeah, well, first of all, nobody has made NATO stronger than President Trump. What he accomplished at The Hague last year by getting all allies to agree to 5% on defense spending, I mean, that was a major...
All the allies didn't actually. Spain specifically said no. But I would, if you want to give him credit for convincing the NATO countries to invest 5% instead of 2.5% into their own military defense, sure. Because that's what it is, right? NATO, I don't think you guys understand what NATO is. It's not a pot that we just put money in. It is for your own defense and the defense of your neighbors, but it's not a pot. It's for your own defense, what you're investing in your own defense. So getting them to agree to 5%, sure, you can give them that credit for that. Spain said fuck off. They're not doing that. But,
strengthening of NATO, but our allies, again, have to demonstrate, not through words. We've seen a lot of strongly worded statements, some in favor of the United States efforts in Iran, some, quite frankly, opposed. But it's been the actions. It's been this basing and overflight that we've seen. And we've also seen several allies that are just unwilling to say that they're on the side of the United States and want to be a part of the solution. So I think what right now, President Trump...
Because they didn't cause the problem. Why should they solve a problem you caused that you didn't even include them on? Again.
Trump's looking for his actions, and he's looking for a NATO that is there.
Drifter, it's not a pot. It is what you spend per your GDP for your own defense. Jesus Christ.
For the United States, that it's not, as Marco Rubio said pretty clearly, it's not a one-way street. It's got to be a two-way street. It's got to not only protect Europe and provide for the security of Europe, but it also there needs to be some benefit and some advantage for the United States being. Otherwise, we're just the suckers that are guaranteeing the security of Europe without any reciprocity.
Well, that's interesting because again, who are the only people, the only country to enact Article 5 of NATO? Oh, that was us. Okay. Want to be clear on that. Here's our Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, on rethinking our alliance. Why? Because the NATO countries have said, no, you don't get to use your fucking bases that you have here to shoot off shit in Iran. We're not going to be a part of that. I'm drifting. They said talking about money when you're drifting yourself. So guys, since I'm drifting so hard, even though that's not the right term, we'll see if they can figure it out. But I am drifting. Can you guys help prove that I'm not drifting by making sure you check out the pay links in my bio? That's Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, and make sure you get your drifting dues in. It is the start of a new month, so we need to make sure that we have all of the members signed up correctly, and we can get my drifting goal down. We can do that. Thank you, Dragon's Celt, for the finger hearts.
When we need them to allow us to use their military bases, their answer is no. Then why are we in NATO? You have to ask that question. Why do we have billions and billions of dollars, hundreds of billions of dollars, over the years, trillions of dollars, and all these American forces stationed in the region? If we can only use, in our time of need, we're not going to be allowed to use those bases. So I think there's no doubt, unfortunately, after this conflict is concluded, we are going to have to re-examine that relationship. We're going to have to re-examine the value of NATO and that alliance for our country. Ultimately, that's a decision for the president to make, and he'll have.
Remember that part. I want you to remember that he said it, okay? Marco Rubio, the current Secretary of State, said that decision is on the president.
Have to make it. We're going to finish the job here. As I said, we're very, very close to achieving our objectives on all of these things that I've outlined. But I do think, unfortunately, we are going to have to re-examine whether or not this alliance that has served this country well for a while is still serving that purpose, or is it now become a one-way street where America is simply in a position to defend Europe, but when we need the help of our allies, they're going to deny us basing rights?
They don't. Okay. Anglo, you're calling me dumb because he asked for their help. He doesn't get to do that. NATO is for defense, dummy. NATO is for defense. How is the United States choosing to attack Iran unprovoked defense?
And they're going to deny us overflight. I think these are very legitimate questions that we need to be asking, and this are going to have to be very carefully examined after this conflict is over. When we need them to allow...
Now that's interesting, because here was Marco Rubio in 2023 with Senator Tim Kaine of Virginia in a co-authored bipartisan bill in regards to keeping the power to leave NATO out of the hands of the presidents.
You, Senator, helped to spearhead an effort with Senator Kaine on a bipartisan basis to prevent any president from unilaterally withdrawing from NATO.
Yes.
Did you write that with Donald Trump in mind? Because he's the only president that I can recall who has ever threatened to withdraw from NATO.
I wrote it. I can't speak for Senator Kaine. I wrote it with the belief that it's an important alliance. If NATO didn't exist, we'd have to create it. It's one of our strategic strengths that we have in the world, because China doesn't have these alliances, for example, and neither do the Russians for that matter, or the Iranians for that matter. But I believe Congress needs to play a role in deciding whether we're going to remove ourselves from that. That said, I will tell you that despite what people may say is rhetoric, because I acknowledge that Donald Trump does not talk like a member of the Council of Foreign Relations on these issues, he actually increased troop levels in Poland, and I saw them. I was there when that happened.
He was trying to draw down from Germany and rotate into Poland. President Biden reversed that.
And so the point being is that I don't believe Donald Trump will remove us from NATO. I do think he is going to do.
You don't think so? Well, now you're advocating for it.
Admittedly, in an unorthodox way, what virtually every American president has done since the onset of NATO, and that is demand that some NATO countries do more.
Sure. Now, if you want to, again, give him the credit for them paying more per their GDP, 5% from 2.5%, give him that credit. That is what you said he was going to do. And now you're sitting here, which the light has left his eyes, and you are sitting here advocating that it is the president who has the ability to remove us from NATO when it's not. So there is that. We'll move on to now some objectives, because apparently our objectives keep changing in Iran, but this is Senator Marshall talking about it specifically. But before I do that, Oliver, are you here, babe?
Yeah.
Will you do a mod announcement? I forgot to put on my jewelry, and I use my rings as like fidgets, so I need to like...
Oh, yeah, you're good.
I'll be right back.
You're good. So there's 64 people over here on the TikTok side. If you guys don't mind booping the screen, share the live, add stuff to stories. We only have 54 shares. If everyone could hold down that screen, a list of people will pop up. If you can share it to every single person that is on that list, that also helps us stay on the FYP while we are also still sitting here and you guys are tapping the screen. Make sure you guys send your heart me's, send your little popular go banners to also help with things over there. If you are over there on the Purple Witch app or the Tube app and you are looking to engage in conversation, there's a phone number 509-795-0412. Once the host gets back, you can engage in a conversation based on factual information. If you are over here on the TikTok streets and you want to come up and have a discussion, again, same premise. You have to have things based in factual information, but you can go ahead and request up and we can have conversations. With that being said, guys, let's knock out this goal as well. Links are in the bio. You can do it regardless of what app you are on. Make sure we're doing all the wonderful things. If you guys want to check out some fun links in the bio as well, there is a Discord everyone can come in and check out. You do have to make sure you verify yourself and stuff of that nature. But make sure you guys are doing all the good things.
Thank you. I was like, I wear my little, like, my breast milk rings, and I usually sit here and, like, flick with them. So I was like, shit, I don't have them. All right. So this is Senator Roger Marshall. He is part of the Senate Budget Committee, and he's going to talk about what our objective was. The problem is what he says is he says it as if Iran has nukes, when we know they never did, per our own U.S. intelligence.
That, again, what the objectives were for this war was to destroy Iran's nukes, their missile system, their navy, and prevent their ability to fund, arm, and train terrorists in the future. I bet we're 90% there. I think again, what the objectives were for this war was to destroy Iran's nukes.
They don't have nukes. They never did.
Like, that's the thing that still is, like, actively unaliving me. Where is any proof that they've had nuclear weaponry? Where?
Probably in the same place where we keep the proof of the WMDs.
Probably. Sure, Bush. Ugh.
So then, let's see. No, I don't want that. I'll skip over that. So here's Jesse Waters, which is funny because I'm going to show you before we even play the video. It got a lovely little community note over here on Twitter because he's an idiot. I want you to listen to him carefully talking about NATO. There's something he says that we saved NATO from specifically. And do I think Jesse Waters is an idiot? Yes. But do I think he's this much of an idiot? No. I think this is the performative aspect of being in the media on the right. You make money, you say the bumper sticker slogans that feed your base and fuel your base because that's all you guys have. You guys need it to be able to cope with the fact that you voted for somebody who's doing nothing for you and making life harder. But again, listen to Jesse Waters specifically say what we saved NATO from.
He has a lot of options. I have no clue what he's going to do. NATO. Let's just say I'm very disappointed. Need we go through how much they owe us? We saved them twice from world wars.
What?
I don't think Jesse Waters knows when NATO was first implemented.
Guys, when was NATO formed? How the fuck did we save them from 2 world wars when NATO didn't exist until after World War II?
We bailed them out with the Marshall Plan. We even lowered our tariffs to 0 so they could recover for decades. And then we helped them out with Ukraine. And all we want is a base? All we want is airspace for a little bit to knock out the world's #1 sponsor of terror? They can't give us that. These missiles are in range of their capitals, not ours. They get their oil from that strait. We don't.
So, Jesse, thank you. Jesse just said that the NATO countries are the ones that are within range of Iran's missile capabilities, not ours. So what the fuck have Marco Rubio, Donald Trump, Pete Hegseth been fucking talking about for a month in regards to their missile capability and having ICBMs? I thought it wasn't just the nuclear capability because we took that out in June of last year, right? That's what Trump said. We obliterated it. So that was done. So we went into this, according to Rubio, Trump, and Hegseth, to get rid of their missile capabilities so that they couldn't attack us. But now Jesse Waters is saying that they couldn't attack us anyway, which you're right, Jesse, they couldn't.
The least they could do is say okay and deal with the domestic blowback. But to say no, while like their economies are getting kind of murdered.
Why are their economies getting murdered, Jesse? Why is the global market such a mess, Jesse? Could it be because our dumb fuck clown president decided to start a war that didn't need to be started? Could it be that? Their markets were fine until we started bombing Iran.
Because they can't even sustain 4 weeks from an oil supply shock. Like, come on.
Randall, that's stupid. Randall said future missile capabilities. That is dumb. You can't look at somebody and say, hey, I think you're going to punch me in the face. I'm not sure on the timeline of when you're going to be able to punch me in the face, but you're gonna. So I'm going to kick your ass right now. You can't do that. That wouldn't hold up in court. But please, Randall, feel free to try it.
You're not going to send one vessel to the Strait? You're going to wait till the hostilities are over? Well, that's the Navy.
Yeah, the imminent threat. Right. Thank you, babe. According to Rubio, Trump, and Hegseth, they were an imminent threat. The imminent threat of the future. What? That's not imminent, sweetie. Randall, try again.
That's what a Navy's for. To end hostilities. You don't get to play cleanup when we do all the heavy lifting.
That's literally what Donald Trump wants them to do. That's literally what Hegseth wants them to do. I posted a video about this from Hegseth's speech where he said, we did all the heavy lifting. We have it set up for success. Just come in and clean it up. They don't want to do that. They don't have to.
Become very entitled, parasitic, and I'm not going to stand for it anymore. Wow. I don't know what that means.
It's because he doesn't believe any of this. He doesn't care. He just wants to get paid and make you guys rage bait on the internet and retweet what he does. That's what he would like. And he would also like to keep stalking women and then make them his wife because something's wrong with him. So then we got reporting yesterday that Pete Hegseth forces out Army's top officer and 2 other generals. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ousted the Army Chief of Staff, General Randy George, 4 U.S. military officials said. Chief Defense Department spokesperson Sean Parnell confirmed George's departure in a statement Thursday on X, saying George, the Army's top officer, would be, quote, retiring from his position as the 41st Chief of Staff of the Army effective immediately. The Department of War is grateful for General George's decades of service to our nation. We wish him well in his retirement, Parnell added. Hegseth has long eyed removing George, who took the chief post in September of 2023. He has removed other senior officials he believes are associated with previous administrations. George was senior military assistant to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin during the Biden administration. Hegseth asked George to retire effective immediately. It is unclear who will serve as Army chief. Hegseth had recently pushed to install General Christopher LaNave as the vice chief of the Army, and 2 officials have said Hegseth made the move to prepare LaNave to ultimately take over as chief. George's firing stemmed in part from Hegseth's long-running grievance with the Army and its leadership and his troubled relationship with Army Secretary Dan Driscoll. 2 U.S. officials and a former official told NBC News George and Driscoll had been allies, and George had been expected to serve until the end of summer 2027, the official said. There's more reporting. I don't know that they address it here. There's rumors, so I'm going to clarify before I say this. This is not confirmed. Don't see this as some sort of factual piece of information. There is reporting, however, behind the scenes that the people that he has fired specifically aren't just about disagreements, but specifically about the fact that they are getting to a point where they want to refuse sending troops to Iran. Again, speculation. We don't know what we don't know. Until then. Bye, Ak. Thank you for being here for a little bit. Randall said the Iranian regime murdered their own people by the thousands, but that's okay. No, that's not okay. I wouldn't say that that's okay, but there's nuance, Randall. I thought that we weren't supposed to be the world police, and I don't know if you saw the most recent news, Randall, that we bombed and took out a civilian bridge yesterday. It serves no military purpose. It is simply civilian. Don't know if you know as well, Donald Trump has threatened if Iran doesn't do a deal, because he desperately wants to get out now, if they don't do a deal, he has threatened to bomb their energy stations and their desalination stations, which would kill thousands. Those are war crimes. You actually are not allowed to hit infrastructure like that civilians rely on. Do you care about that, Randall? Or are you just going to pearl clutch about a community of people you don't give a fuck about? Because when these people make their way here for refuge after the fuck shit that their regime and our regime has caused to them, you will scream and cry about getting the Islamic terrorists out of the country. I don't want to hear it, Randall. You don't actually give a fuck. Cool. So here is Republican McCormick, Representative McCormick. And I have some clips of him later. So before you call him a rhino, I have clips of him later glazing Donald Trump's taint. But in this one, he is being told on the fly that Hegseth has fired General George. And he's actually shocked by it because he says he is a, quote, brilliant mind.
I wonder if you could react, how important you think that might be. And I wonder if you can respond to some breaking news we got a few moments ago.
Timothy. Jesus Christ. Sorry, guys. He says they killed protesters in Iran. I know. How does us going and bombing the people help the protesters that they're killing? How does us starving Cuba help the people in that country? How about having a masked, unidentifiable police force in the United States roaming our cities and shooting 3 U.S. citizens to death, helping the people? You don't give a fuck about the people. Stop clutching your fake fucking pearls. You don't give a shit. Because we talked about for weeks, Renee Good and Alex Preddy and, oh God, what's the name? Oh no, 4. The 4th one just wasn't shot. She was killed by a car. You're killing protesters here and you guys rationalized it to me, saying it was justified to me. You don't give a fuck about people. Shut the fuck up.
That the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, has now asked the Army Chief of Staff to step down. Is there turmoil at the Pentagon when we need everybody more than ever to be on the same page, sir?
That would be news to me if you're talking about General George. I'm not sure which general you're talking about, but that would be very surprising to me. And I would look into it immediately because those are people that I know very well. As far as the Straits of Hormuz, if you think about the number of nations that rely on oil from that region, way more than the United States for sure, they're the ones that are struggling right now. If you look at Cuba, struggling. Countries are going to suffer a lot more than us. That's why the president is so adamant that why don't you guys participate in this? We've done all the dirty work for you. The entire region is going to benefit from this.
Mitchell, do you have proof? Do you have concrete, actual proof that they were transporting munitions with that bridge, or is that just you pretzeling to defend the fact we're going after civilian infrastructure now? Okay.
You're going to have the defunding of militant terrorists around the world, and yet you won't even protect your own ships and getting through the straits.
Because it was fine. It was open until Donald Trump went over there. Why would NATO get involved? They didn't ask to be. No, Mitchell, I don't have proof of that. What do you mean? The proof that we have is that Fox News themselves are reporting it as a civilian bridge. Dumb fuck. So find me the other goddamn shit. Born to Have Fun is making a good point, which is that nothing like watching Democrats beg for money. You're right. So as an independent, as a registered independent, I'm not going to beg for money. I'm just going to direct my audience. It is Friday, guys. It is 10:30. We haven't touched my goal yet. I would appreciate it if we could get going on that. Again, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal links are in my bio. Even if we get a dollar train going, let's start getting this goal down, because I too no longer want to see Democrats grifting and begging for money. They've been doing it for too long. It is time for the independents, the registered independents, to stand up and do it themselves. It's our turn, guys. So help out with that.
You know what makes me really frustrated? Is the fact that we're sitting here and Trump supporters are talking about Iran, but no one's going to talk about Cuba. How we're actively starving.
Yep.
How we are actively allowing a country to go in dark.
Okay, this is the last little thing I have on Iran for now, and that is CNN is reporting from U.S. Intel about how it's going over there in Iran. So I'll ask the MAGA who's real mad today. I'll ask you guys, according to Donald Trump, we have destroyed their military capabilities. According to Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth, we have destroyed their ability to launch missiles. Is that true? They're big mad about the drift. I'm not pushing propaganda. I'm critiquing this administration and their lies. But sure. Did the U.S. military destroy the missile launching capabilities of Iran? Maybe you guys don't know. They don't actually listen to Donald Trump speak, so I wouldn't be surprised. Well, according to the U.S. Intel reporting that we're getting, no, they haven't.
We have some breaking news for you tonight with a CNN exclusive report, as sources are telling us here tonight that recent U.S. intelligence assessments found roughly half of Iran's missile launchers are still intact, and that thousands of one-way attack drones are still in Iran's arsenal tonight. That's despite daily U.S. and Israeli airstrikes that we've seen against Iranian military targets for the past 5 weeks. And I should note, this assessment that my colleagues are reporting on tonight might include launchers that are currently inaccessible, such as those that are buried by strikes or not just completely destroyed. The intelligence, though, does offer a more nuanced picture that we're getting of Iran's capabilities that they still have right now than what we have heard from the White House since the beginning of this war. Joining me tonight is Sue Gordon. We have some breaking news for you tonight with a CNN.
So we're getting reporting that would need to be confirmed, but we're getting reporting that half of their missile launchers are still intact. Now, that's bad, but also I think we know this anyway, right? As much as Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth have been saying that we have destroyed their capabilities, then why do we need NATO's help? If we've destroyed their capabilities and it's done, how come we need NATO's help to come in and clean up the strait and take it back to open it? Could it be because they're still launching shit? Could it be that? Maybe. Okay, I didn't get into Donald Trump yesterday, so we're going to get into him a little bit on some of the things he said. I wanted to find the clip separately, but it was fine. It was perfect because I found them together, so it didn't end up mattering. So I'm sure everybody has seen the clip of Donald Trump from yesterday, which apparently PodSafe said that the video that we saw of him speaking about not being able to pay for daycare, which is the clip I'm going to get into, was supposed to be a closed door meeting. That was not supposed to be filmed. So everything that we got from that the White House posted, they took down, but unfortunately for them, the internet is forever. So we have it. So we're going to compare it to one of me and Olive and Blue's favorites from the campaign trail in 2024, which is, what is it? Childcare is childcare.
If you win in November, can you commit to prioritizing legislation to make childcare affordable? And if so, what specific piece of legislation will you advance?
Well, I would do that. Childcare is childcare. There's something, you have to have it. In this country, you have to have it. We're going to make this into an incredible country that can afford to take care of its people, and then we'll worry about the rest of the world. Let's help other people. But we're going to take care of our country first. This is about America first. We can't take care of daycare. We're a big country. We have 50 states. We have all these other people. We're fighting wars. We can't take care of daycare. You got.
Oh, so we got to take care of our country first.
Almost like America first, right?
Almost like America first. That's a good, I think we should put that on a bumper sticker and sell it, Olive. I think it'd be a good.
Something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, I talked about it briefly yesterday, and I think people need to understand. The American people are struggling for childcare. The American people, there are a lot of people staying home because they can't afford childcare.
Correct.
And the childcare workers are leaving their jobs. So Trump supporters don't care about children. That's all that tells me.
When it gets worse, because now he's going to talk about Medicaid and Medicare. But again, on the campaign trail, like he told you all that we needed to focus on America first and that childcare is childcare. And in his word salad of an answer, that we would be fine because of all the investment and money that we were going to have bringing into the United States, that the federal government would definitely be able to help Americans who are struggling with getting childcare for their children. Interesting. Before we get back to that, Mia, do you know you sent that twice, right, babe? Because I can send you back the other one. You sent it twice on accident. So you sent me $4 instead of $2. So I can send the other 2 back. But Mia, thank you so much for the $2 for the choo-choo train. Choo-choo! I appreciate you so much. I will send that other one back. And Trademark, thank you so much. It was on purpose? Oh, you want me to do it again? Thank you for the $4 for two choo trains. Ready? Choo-choo! Thank you, Mia. Now do it twice. Here, I'll do it twice in a row for you. Ready? Choo-choo! Choo-choo! There you go. If anybody clips that, I'm going to delete you out of my server. And Trademark, thank you so much for the $5 on the Blue app. Let's get this show on the road, chat. I'm trying to get some BLM brownies this month. Yeah, you guys don't want to miss out on your BLM bake sale. No, Eli, it's not a challenge. It's never a challenge. Stop. So thank you so much for contributing to my drift. You guys know that I do work directly under George Soros, and I have to make sure that he gets his dues. So that's really, really important. So thank you guys for doing that. That's not what you were supposed to be doing. What is happening? Messing things up now. I don't even need to do math, but I'm just messing stuff up. So we can finish that clip. But I can do this. My word. Okay. Bring this back now.
Let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes, but they should pay for it. And we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up. But it's not possible for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things. They can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing, military.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you heard Republicans, him talk about raising their taxes in the state to be able to pay for it. So he acknowledges that it is tax money that pays for this, and they would need to raise the taxes. If that was the case, why don't we just make the rich pay their fair share and then the federal government could pay for it? But also, Medicare and Medicaid in and of themselves, because they get pulled automatically, pay for themselves. The only reason they don't pay for themselves like they should, like they're meant to, is because both sides, congratulations, you get your both sides, Republicans and Democrats borrow from the Medicaid and Medicare budget for other things, and they don't put it back, and they just keep borrowing from it and keep borrowing from it, making it almost insolvent. So if we stop doing that, actually made the rich pay their fucking fair share, we would have no issues there. But he's going to tell you that if the states do this, they're going to have to raise their taxes.
Daycare. You got to let a state take care of daycare, and they should pay for it too. They should pay. They have to raise their taxes. But
who pays for state taxes? Oh, you do. Okay.
They should pay for it, and we could lower our taxes a little bit to them to make up. But it's not possible for us to take care of daycare, Medicaid, Medicare, all these individual things. They can do it on a state basis. You can't do it on a federal. We have to take care of one thing, military protection. We have to guard the country.
Military spending. We can't give you health care. We can't help the actual people because we need to fund this war that nobody fucking asked for, that he didn't campaign on doing. Here is Gupta. He is a doctor, and he is going to describe how This is going to hurt y'all in the rural and in the red and purple states way more than it's going to hurt us in the blue states, as it typically does.
Medicare and Medicaid are formal programs.
Yes, Eli, also that he is asking, well, Pete Hegseth specifically is asking to increase the defense budget up to $1.5 trillion. So much for fiscal responsibility and a lack of spending. We're going to cut spending, guys. $1.5 trillion in defense. Oh, by the way, can you guys give us $200 billion to keep going with this war that we've won?
Run by the federal government largely. And he is now saying that the states, that these are now the responsibilities of states.
It's not my source, Father Son. He's talking about it, but we know that statistically that would be the case. Statistically, the rural counties, because we already saw that with the big, beautiful bill, with the fact that rural hospitals were going to be closing anyway. You took out, what was it, like $150 billion, and then they re-injected into the bill $50 billion for rural hospitals, so they lost $100 billion in funding, and rural hospitals are going to start closing and had already done so.
That is a significant statement. And if he meant it, one wonders who's advising him, or is he riffing? Does he know what he's actually talking about? Does he understand the implications of what that statement that he made today, seemingly off the cuff, those implications?
No, because he's an idiot. He has no fucking clue what he's talking about. But remember, we will get a concept of a healthcare plan in 2 weeks.
You know, does he understand any of that? Because if you're a Democrat running in 2026, you should be running on a...
Father Son, I have played an entire 40-minute video of fucking Nick Shirley. Does that make him my source? No.
On that statement, that he wants to transition Medicaid and Medicare to state-based programs. And here's why this matters, Ben. If that's actually what he's saying, and states are now, he wants states to run them, state taxes to somehow make up for federal taxes. Clearly, the wealthier states are going to be able to provide greater benefits, greater health care, if this were to happen one day, to their people than non-wealthy states, if this is truly a state-based program. So that means, frankly, purple and red states are likely going to struggle a lot more giving basic health care to their Medicare and Medicaid recipients than blue states, which tend to be richer and frankly, far more resourced. And so this has enormous consequences. So just like he has $200 billion for 3 months of the Iran war, you know, and that is clearly a priority. The fact that he's saying this, every Democratic candidate, frankly, the American public should be paying attention to this statement. He's not interested in making Medicare and Medicaid as strong as possible. He wants states to take it over. That's fundamentally not what's in the statutory law today. And two, there's no way states can actually do what he's suggesting that they can do well. It's not possible. And people will suffer if that actually were to come to pass one day.
That's the problem. You know, the blue states that have a better economy might be able to take care of it. The red states who don't pay their fair share in taxes and actually take from blue states' money aren't going to be able to. Father Son is very mad over there on YouTube. I just want everybody to know. Very, very, very mad. Father Son, you can call in. I have that number on my screen. And if you call in, I'm going to ask you why you support Trump. And it has to be based on factual evidence and not your feelings, which I know is a tough one for you. But that is what it is. Do that. Add Casey since she's over there. I know she's not usually over here because usually she's with RTP, but for the days she's over here. So yeah, call in. You guys don't because you don't have facts behind what you say. So there's that. So here's Donald Trump talking about the strait and how it will open naturally, which is not a thing.
Iran has been essentially decimated. The hard part is done, so it should be easy. And in any event, when this conflict is over, the strait will open up naturally. It'll just open up naturally. They're going to want to be able to sell oil because that's all they have to try and rebuild. It will resume the flowing, and the gas prices will rapidly come back down. Oh, yeah. Stock prices will rapidly go back up. They haven't come down very much, frankly. They came down a little bit, but they've had some very good days over the last couple.
It was like 111 yesterday. I haven't looked today.
Couple of days, we've done actually much better than I thought, but we had to take that little journey to Iran to get rid of this horrible threat.
Did we? I'm going to read it. I'm going to get in trouble for reading it. Guys, Oya sent this message, but I want to see big W's first. So W Oya, I want to see it in the chat. W Oya for the $40 on the Blue app. Oya's trying to get me canceled. Fuck Pete Hegseth, Dan Driscoll, and Trump on Crip Monica. And it is someone doing the Crip walk. I'm glad father son knows what purple looks like. Guys, don't you love my purple hair? Thank you, Oya. My husband got us all in trouble last night, and we didn't even do nothing. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that, Oya. I'm not fucking doing that. That's not happening. And thank you, Justin, for the $4 on Venmo for the quesadilla fund. We can't slap them if we can't get them. We got to prep our quesadillas and make them look nice. That's what has to happen. I can do the math on this by myself. Look, I did it. I didn't need the calculator for that one. Okay. That's more of Trump in that. I'll skip over that one because we kind of covered it multiple times this morning. We're going to go to, I just wanted to show this clip because I heard it when he said it, and I was very curious about why he skipped over that one specifically. So he was talking, he's trying to sell this as being some sort of short-term excursion. What he fucking means is incursion. He just can't get that right. But he's trying to sell this as some short thing. This isn't going to last long, guys. Don't worry, because he's seen the polling and people are like, what the fuck are we doing? Right? So he's going to mention the length of time that we have been involved in other wars or conflicts. What happened? What'd you say? Send it back. Send what back? What do I got to send back? The 4? I absolutely will, Mia. It's not I didn't do it. Send it back. Or send him back? Where do I drop him off? Is there like a bin that you take husbands to? I don't know. Message me on Discord. What am I supposed to do? Don't send him here. Like, Jesus. No, keep scrolling. Okay, hold on. Pause. Send it back. To Oya? Wait. This fun progressive dinner. What? Send it back to Oya? Instructions unclear. Please input again. So he's going to mention the length of time that we have been in these conflicts or wars, and he leaves one very particular one out. I wonder why.
Have none. It's very important that we keep this conflict in perspective. American involvement in World War I lasted 1 year, 7 months, and 5 days. World War II lasted for 3 years, 8 months, and 25 days. The Korean War lasted for 3 years, 1 month, and 2 days. The Vietnam War lasted for 19 years, 5 months, and 29 days. Iraq went on for 8 years, 8 months, and 28 days. We are in this military operation so powerful, so...
Oh, I think there's one in there that you missed. A pretty big one. I'm trying to think of it. It actually was the hop, skip, and jump for why we went to Iraq. The fuck was it called? Oh, the war in Afghanistan. The war on terror in Afghanistan. How long were we there for? Were we there under your first administration? Oh, we were. Okay. So we're just going to skip the 20 years that we were in Afghanistan. and you're going to try and say, well, I can say this one ends whenever I want to. That's not how this works. So, and also, yes, Black Jesus, thank you. That is correct. He did say out of his own mouth that Iraq was a mistake. And that actually he has talked about that bombing Iran would be a mistake for any president. And that all that it shows is that a president can't negotiate if they do that. So here we go. Joe Byron's fault. I did see somebody who came in, I hope that they're still here, but Lady Foxtrot had said that they're probably not welcome here, but they're inherently a constitutional conservative with the stress on Constitution. So you did support Trump, but the use of the executive branch is out of balance. I would say you are welcome here. I argue from most spaces, from a space of the Constitution and what its power is interpreted as of SCOTUS. The equal branches of government and how they're meant to check each other and how we're not seeing that. I'm sure since you are a conservative and I am a progressive or a leftist, that there are many things we disagree on. But when it comes to the Constitution, I would agree with you. So, again, I'm not a Democrat. I have voted Democratic, yes, because we live in a bullshit two-party system. I would advocate for ranked choice voting in this system. I am a registered independent. I actually get perks in my state for being a registered independent, which is that when the primary comes around, I get the Democratic and the Republican primary ballot, and I have to choose which one I would like to have an effect on. Sometimes the Democrats are handling their own shit, and so I want to influence who's running on the Republican side, and it gives me the option to do that as a registered independent. I have voted to retain conservative judges that I think have no marks on their record and are doing a good job. So yeah, it's not as simple as DNR. It's just not, and it shouldn't be. And that's my goal, is for you to critique the things that this administration and Donald Trump do, as I would anyone. I literally called Joe Biden an idiot yesterday and the day before that. I have no problem doing that. So get it together. All right, let's move on to Todd Blanche. So as we all saw, it was breaking news and reported yesterday. You're going to take your meds. Oh, yeah, that's probably a good idea. Yes.
Oh, I was just going to say, Sky News is reporting the crew member rescued after U.S. jet has been downed.
Okay. Good. Will you send that to me? Because then I can add it into the outline, too, for underneath. Okay, awesome. Oh, if I turn my head, I would see
you good?
Thanks, babe. So as we saw the breaking news yesterday that Pam Bondi is out. It's funny because actually Donald Trump's truth came after we showed the Fox News video where Peter Doocy on Fox said he spoke to the president, who said that Pam Bondi was being moved to a different part of the administration, like they said with Noam. And then Trump's truth came out saying she's moving to the private sector, meaning that bitch fired. She's done in the admin, which there is reporting coming out that she spent the entire day before that trying to keep her job. Didn't work. So as of now, Todd Blanche, who is the Deputy Attorney General, is going to be acting Attorney General. PodSave is saying this morning that he can be the acting attorney for up to like 200 something days, which is a lot longer than I thought it was, before they have to appoint somebody. But again, Congress is feckless. They're really not checking the president, and they're not keeping him honest or accountable. 210. Thank you, Rob. They're not keeping him accountable, so they might let him go for longer. I wouldn't be fucking surprised by that if they did that. But we are going to go over... first, I'm going to show you, we do get some Enton today. Just one little bit of Enton. We do love our Red Bull Good Boy Golden Retriever on the numbers that Bondi was getting in way of polling. They weren't great. Probably helped Trump make his decision to make her go away. So I'm going to show that. And then we are going to do a nice refresher on who Todd Blanche was, who Todd Blanche is, and why this isn't any better to have Donald Trump's his personal defense attorney during his criminal cases as the attorney general. But first, we get Enton. What is he doing? Why is Black Jesus saying, Ayo, what the fuck? What did you do? What did you do?
All right, this morning, Attorney General Pam Bondi on her way involuntarily to the private sector. So what do the numbers tell us about what went wrong for her? CNN chief data analyst Harry Enton is here. Good morning to you, sir.
Change it right now. I will block your fucking account. I swear to God, I will block you.
How popular was Pam Bondi, before yesterday, before she got fired?
Yeah, the American people are saying, thank God Pam Bondi is gone. She wore on them like an in-law who stayed too late past Christmas vacation. I mean, just take a look here. Net popularity of Pam Bondi. In January 2025, you know what? She was actually on the positive side of the ledger. Look at this, at +1 points. But look at this. Down she goes. The more people got to know Pam Bondi, the less they liked her. Her net popularity rating by the end, -19 points, a 20-point shift in the wrong direction. Of course, one of the key reasons being why was the Epstein case, which, of course, she was helping in charge of that particular in the Trump administration. And the American people, simply put, did not like Pam Bondi.
How does this compare to other people who've had the job?
Yeah, okay. So, President Trump sees this. He sees.
Real mom, I heard that too. He did say, as they got to know, he meant got to know, but he sure as fuck said got to know.
Oh my God, she's wearing on my administration. And more than that, he might recall that there was actually a fairly popular attorney general at this point in administration. Look at this, net popularities of attorneys general about this time in the presidency. Look, Joe Biden's Merrick Garland was actually on the plus side of ledger at +6 points. Look at this, Pam Bondi far more unpopular here at -19 points.
That's wild. Because I can't fucking stand Merrick Garland. Most people on both sides of the aisle can't fucking stand Merrick Garland. Now, for different reasons, you guys think that he was sent out like a hound by Joe Biden to go after Donald Trump. That's not me. Help. By Joe Biden to go after Donald Trump when that's not what happened. Actually, that's the opposite reason, which is why Democrats and leftists are mad, which is that Merrick Garland sat on his fucking hands and didn't do his fucking job, as he should have. He should have been worried about making sure he wasn't dragging his feet. He was dragging his feet on these cases, which gave Donald Trump the leeway to delay and delay and delay and delay and delay, to the point where now the cases are, permanently dismissed. It's not true. They're just dismissed for now because it's without prejudice, so they can bring them back up when he's out of office. But he did not do his job. He did not go after him fast enough with the evidence that they had.
At this point, so we're talking about Merrick Garland being more than 25 points more popular in the net popularity rating, and that's the reason why I had to put this former in parentheses right here, because Pam Bondi is bye-bye Bondi.
She's still...
And she's gone. So let's get to some Todd Blanche. Let me highlight that so I know I'm done. This is just some reminder of some things, okay? So here is Todd Blanche. This was when he was on with Laura Ingraham. Now, we've played these clips before, but we need a refresher, okay? So this was from a few months ago. Again, issues with the Epstein files. Even they came out and admitted that they haven't been the best on it. And they haven't. So here's him with Laura Ingraham about what is not a crime. Because they're trying their best to protect Donald Trump from possible investigation on this, which is interesting because even if you want to investigate Democrats, they're not doing that either. Why? Why are they not investigating Democrats? We know Bill Clinton hung out with him. We know that Bill Gates hung out with him. Why are we not going after those people? Where's the investigation?
Rallies. Is there any chance that any of these individuals who partied with Epstein and engaged in, relations with minors will be prosecuted?
Well,
Any
look,
chance?
I'll never say no, and we will always investigate any evidence of misconduct. But as you know, it is not a crime to party with Mr. Epstein, and so as horrible as it's not a crime.
It could be. It could be if that party involved harming minors. It could be.
To email with Mr. Epstein, and some of these men may have done horrible things, and if we have evidence that allows us to prosecute them, you better believe we will. But it's also the kind of thing that the American people need to understand, that it isn't a crime to party with Mr. Epstein. It isn't a crime to have
Didn't look like that's all that was going on some of those photos. I mean, if the photos could speak, some of them look pretty bad.
That's right, and unfortunately, photos can't speak, and so we need witnesses and we need
Are there
evidence
videotapes that you all have, or? Rallies.
We need witnesses. Well, that's interesting because when Pam Bondi testified in front of Congress, the survivors were there. And the survivors raised their hands because they said that they have not been reached out to. Why has the DOJ not reached out to these survivors? If you need witnesses, go talk to them. They're there. They're waiting for you. This was Todd Blanche on January 30th being asked about the information in regards to we were, trying to find out about these people. Are you going to prosecute these people? And he kind of pretzels around it. It's very weird. It's a very weird answer, basically to say no, because obviously this was January, and here we are, and they haven't done anything.
So just to clarify, is the public going to learn the identities of the men who abused the girls?
Gianez, did you just get here? Gianez says, I've got you, Lady Foxtrot. Gianez says, Bill Clinton is okay, though. I literally just said, why aren't they investigating him? Why aren't they getting warrants? Why aren't they doing those things? Go get him. Go get Bill Gates. Go get the motherfuckers that we know were partying with Epstein around this time and going to the island. Why is the DOJ not doing that?
With the information that you're releasing, and if not, why not? And then I have a quick follow-up.
I mean, you just baked in an assumption into your question that I have never said and I don't know to be true. Is the public going to learn about men that abuse these girls? Like, what does that mean? I mean, I don't understand what that means.
Well, I mean, they're the men who abused the young women through Epstein's.
Look, we said in July, and it remains as true today as it was in July. If we had information, we meaning the Department of Justice, about men who abused women, we would prosecute them, right? We talked about.
Would you? Because there's a lot of information in only half the amount of files that you gave us that you're not investigating. Stuff that the FBI found credible that you're not investigating.
About the work that we're doing. That's why I said that. I said this earlier. There's this built-in assumption that somehow there's this hidden tranche of
Thank you, Juan.
information of men that we know about that we're covering up or that we're choosing not to prosecute. That is not the case. I don't know whether there are men out there that abuse these women. If we learn about information and evidence.
What do you mean you don't know? You guys were going through the files. We know that Pam Bondi said the list is on her desk, and I even give her the grace that I think she misspoke there and she meant the files in and of themselves. I don't think there's an actual, client list. Pam Bondi was the one that we knew had pulled people purposefully from the DOJ and the FBI to work on redacting names. And you guys are still violating the law by not releasing all of the files. What do you mean you don't know about men harming women and children? What do you mean?
Evidence that allows us to prosecute them, you better believe we will. But I don't think that the public or you all are going to uncover men within the Epstein files that abuse women, unfortunately.
What the fuck is that? Turvid used, what do you mean, what is the law? Did you read the Epstein Transparency Act? The law is to release all of the files except for anything that could be interfering with national security, and the survivors' names need to be redacted, but everybody else's names need to be unredacted, and we didn't see that happen. And so now he's going to come out, he's got to do his interviews now because he's going to be the acting AG. And again, just to show you, here's the lovely community note from Twitter because he's a fucking liar. He's going to tell Jesse Waters that they've released everything.
Now, the Epstein files, you'd agree, not handled well?
Oh, was it sarcasm? Okay, I apologize.
No, and I don't.
And thank you. Yes, Black Jesus. And if they do redact, they have to send to Congress explaining why it's redacted.
First of all, I have never heard President Trump say that the Attorney General that anything that happened to her had anything to do with the Epstein files. And so, look, the Epstein files has been a saga that's lasted for the past year. And what happened when the president signed the Transparency Act is the Department of Justice has now released all the files with respect to the Epstein saga. And the Attorney General Bondi and
What? Because even Pam Bondi admitted in her testimony in front of Congress that they've released, that she tried to say they've released all of it, and then she backtracked on that. Because Congress is like, no, you haven't. We've seen it. No, you haven't released everything. Why are they lying to you that they've released everything? Why? Could it be perhaps they want to move on? Could it be perhaps because Donald Trump's name is all over the fucking place and warrants an investigation? Could it be because we've now found out that Lutnick also lied by saying that he met his new neighbor, Jeffrey Epstein, and that him and his wife decided he was a creep and they never were going to spend time with him again? But then it later came out that he took him and his kids, his entire fucking family, to Epstein Island? Could it be maybe that? No apologies. Could that maybe be why Todd Blanche is saying they've released everything? Lady Foxtrot, I agree with that. It's not just Trump. The reason I say Trump a lot is because of the fact that he's the one in the chair, right? So he's the one directing these people. Remember that Todd Blanche was his personal attorney for his criminal cases. This is not like someone he picked off of advice, okay? This is his personal attorney. This guy has been defending him and licking his taint for years. So the reason I say Trump specifically is because he's the one in the chair. And if he's going to brag as much as he has about the power that Congress has because he won it in a landslide, that they have the majority in the House and the Senate, and they're not doing anything about it. No, Chris, they're too coward to call. The numbers, it's on, it's open, it's ready to go. Why is he lying to you?
I appeared in front of Congress voluntarily a couple weeks ago to answer any questions they had. We have made every single congressman, senator available to come and see any document, redacted, unredacted, that they want. And so I think that to the extent that the Epstein...
You haven't made it available. What they did is they had to subpoena the Epstein estate to get information. That's what happened. The Oversight Committee subpoenaed the Epstein estate to get documentation because you were not giving it to them.
Files was a part of the past year of this Justice Department. It should not be a part of anything going forward.
Okay, well, I mean...
And I'll replay that clip later in a minute because that's wild. Because now they're saying not only are we done, we're like really done and we're not going to do it again. So then Blanche is going to say that Donald Trump has been the only one to be... that held Mr. Epstein accountable, probably because he was arrested right in his first term. Hold on one second. There it is. Saying that Donald Trump was the only one. Yeah, Chicky, we were talking about it this morning. That was my breaking news to start the day. Is that Donald Trump is the only one to have held Jeffrey Epstein accountable. I don't see how, because, he died. So, you didn't really hold him accountable. And the Democrats in 5 Republicans? How many? Massey, Mace, Boebert, MTG. Was MTG there still, or was she gone yet? So it's 4 or 5 Republicans who were on board with getting these files released when Donald Trump and the AG were trying to hide it. Even Jesse Waters, who is a fucking lizard person. He's not a real human. He is a slimy fucking worm. Is I don't think you're getting the temperature right on this.
And I can tell you this, there's only one president.
So here's the thing, real quick before we get to Alpha. You said it's not as if Biden ever even offered to disclose a single file. You're right. You're right. Find some sort of law for, I don't know, withholding or something like that, to go after Biden. That's fine. You can go after the Congress specifically under Biden too for not giving a fuck. As Casey just pointed out to you, there was an active case ongoing during that time, which would have been Ghislaine Maxwell's, and her appeals were still pending for why he couldn't. But if you want to put blame on him, you absolutely can. I'm not going to keep you from doing so. What I'm saying is Trump is in the chair now, and Trump is the only one who, again, I will not say he campaigned on it, but on the campaign trail said that he would release them. And then he got into office and went and hid from that.
And I can tell you this, there's only one president that's held Mr. Epstein accountable, and that's Donald J. Trump. During his first administration, that was the administration that prosecuted him, and during this administration, it's the administration that's been totally transparent and released all the files. And no matter how much criticism people want to make about the Epstein files, that is indisputable. It's undisputable that nobody talked about the Epstein files for 4 years during Biden. 4 years.
You're right. We didn't. What I will always say is that people on the left didn't because we just believed the victims. Now, did we necessarily know the web of the amount of people in power who were involved? No. So no, we weren't talking about that aspect. We believed the women, the survivors. We already did do that. But if you want to put that blame, that's fine. The people who were talking about it were like fringe and on the right and part of conspiracy theory circles that, yeah, people didn't really take seriously. Well, they've been vindicated a little bit. There is a giant cover-up that has been going on through the government for as far back as Bill Clinton in regards to what they knew, what the DOJ, what the FBI knew about Epstein. I agree. It sucks that it wasn't brought to light until now, where it's forced to be. That fucking sucks. As a woman in this country, I'm not surprised. But it fucking sucks. Our society is built off of patriarchal, misogynistic bullshit. You're not telling me anything I don't know. And it sucks. So if you want to admonish previous administrations and previous presidents for not doing that, cool. I'm with you. Grab the pitchforks. Who's in the chair now? Why are you guys running from this?
And so when President Trump said, let's release the Epstein files, and the law was passed that allowed us to legally do it, we did it.
Okay. I'm not sure you totally get what people feel about that, but I want to move on.
Because that's the problem, is we can see the polling. We can see the people you've lost, Donald Trump, on your side, from your base, because you fucking lied to them about this. You're protecting pedophiles. And if you want to say people did before, cool, I'd agree with you. Why is he continuing that disgusting tradition? Maybe be better. Maybe be different. So I'm going to repeat this this clip. This is where he was talking about moving on. Because again, that's why we have to keep speaking out. That's why we have to keep bringing it up, is because they are going to try their hardest to move on. They're going to try their hardest to distract you with fucked up shit like bombing Iran. They're going to try to distract you with that so that you forget about the files, because they're going to try to move on. Guys, thank you. Over here on TikTok, I appreciate that we have gotten to 75,000 likes. You guys are rocking it. I definitely think we will hit 100,000 before I end today, which I have about 40 minutes left. And in that same amount of time, I've got 4-7 left in my goals. Guys, this is my job. I set up these outlines for you. This is how I pay my bills. If you could get that knocked down today on this Friday, it would be wonderful, and I would appreciate you so much for that. But again, here's Todd Blanche with his "We're moving on now."
To the extent that the Epstein files was a part of the past year of this Justice Department, it should not be a part of anything going forward.
It will not be a part of anything going forward. So they are not going to do anything in way of investigation, in way of release, in way of prosecution of the files. Cool. So here's Trey Gowdy. I hate him. You want to talk about lizard people? I'm sorry, Namor. If you want to talk about lizard people, he looks like Grindelwald. Like, he literally, look. Tell me that that's not Grindelwald from Fantastic Beasts. You can't. That's a weird looking man. But anyway, he's gross. He sucks. But he's been kind of on it lately. Most of his fucking takes are actually pretty valid. And here he's going to talk about the fact that Pam Bondi was fired and that we need to remove the political aspect out of the DOJ. The DOJ was always meant to be independent of the president, right? They need to do their job. They get appointed by them and then they get confirmed by the Senate. But their job is to be independent of the president and to actually charge and convict crime regardless of who's in office. And he wants to see more of that. I would want to see more of that. Oops, sorry, I didn't mean to get rid of him.
Yeah, Brett, good facts make good lawyers. And if you're getting a no bill, if the grand jury is rejecting an indictment, then you got no chance of winning at trial. Todd Blanche is a real lawyer. He's a real litigator. Lee Zeldin would do a great job. John Radcliffe, which is not a name you hear, and he will kill me for mentioning his name, but John Radcliffe would be a great AG. He's got people to pick from.
John Ratcliffe is the current director of the CIA. I don't think we want to move him. I would actually say that John Ratcliffe is probably qualified for his position in the CIA. I don't know if you would want to move him. He's a Q-tip with ears, love. He is a Q-tip with ears. I hate that so much. I know they're floating around Lee Zeldin, who is currently in charge of the EPA. He doesn't really have, I guess he was in JAG, but he doesn't really have a lot of prosecutorial experience, so that wouldn't really be a good choice. I've heard that they're floating Senator Mike Lee. God help us all. If that's the case. Although I don't have the clip, but I saw it this morning. Tom Tillis has said that he is going to refuse to confirm any AG who does not criticize the January 6th attack. So if you're trying to put in some sort of loyalist who thinks that what happened on Jan 6 was sort of some sort of conspiracy, yeah, Mike fucking Lee, Blue. Mike motherfucking Lee. PodSave made a really good joke, which is the fact that they're probably saying Mike Lee so that they in the Senate don't have to deal with Mike Lee. But Tom Tillis you won't have the vote. I think you're going to have a tough time now. Original pick was Matt Gaetz, and then you did Bondi, who didn't do a good job. I think your track record on who you're picking for these is not great right now.
We gotta change our expectations of the Attorney General. That's not an extension of a political operation. It should be a serious man or woman who follows the facts, and we got to get the politics out of the department.
I would agree. Get the politics out of the department. Stop thinking that the DOJ is your personal retribution center to be able to go after the people you deem to have wronged you. I'll get to the CNN reporting in a second, but real quick, W to L. Thank you, L, for the $5. You just sent the little bill emoji. Thank you so much for your support. I appreciate it. Guys, that brings us down to 42. Almost there as we keep going today. And hide files. Mike Lee is a mess. It's not your fault, Jess. I have a Republican representative. I can't stand that motherfucker either. We're going to get him out this year. So here is some CNN reporting, and they are talking to one of the lawyers for the victims of Jeffrey Epstein and how they're feeling about how Pam Bondi failed them and how Todd Blanche isn't going to be much better.
Yeah, I have very little faith. I have similar words to say about how Todd Blanche has handled this whole thing. As you stated earlier, it's important to recall that Todd Blanche is the one that basically gave convicted child sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell a platform to just really deny things, say whatever she wanted.
Now remember, do we remember this? Todd Blanche was the one who went, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. I just got flagged for misinformation. Guys, over here on TikTok, I will be right back. YouTube and Twitch, you don't have to go anywhere, but I'll be right back. They're such crybaby. I can't stand TikTok. Again, I will keep saying that. As much as YouTube can be a hellscape, at least I can speak. I need to find something to put here. 1 second, guys. Okay. bring that up. Okay. As we get back, make sure we're doing all of the good things. I didn't do any misinformation patch. What did I do information on? Or misinformation on? What did I say? Start this over. Yes, Jonas, I do, but I wouldn't call it debating. I have conversations based off of factual evidence and not your feelings. Matthew, I don't have a man. Okay, sure.
Yeah, I have very little faith. I have similar words to say about how Todd Blanche has handled this whole thing. As you stated earlier, it's important to recall that Todd Blanche is the one that basically gave convicted child sex trafficker Ghislaine Maxwell a platform to just really deny things, say whatever she wanted, speak in praise of herself, speak in praise of Donald Trump with zero pushback. I mean, they call that an interview. That was basically just serving up a platform for a convicted child sex trafficker. So again, for all the statements we've seen, all the appearances from Todd Blanche, again, continue to just be what every person in this administration seems to push forward, which is a praise of Donald Trump and his agenda. So again, I don't expect him to be much better than Pam Bondi.
Right. So he did that recorded interview with Ghislaine Maxwell, which we had no clue why, because they didn't do anything with that information. And then shortly there, she was moved to a lower security. There is argumentation on whether she was moved to the same level of security, but she seems to have a lot more perks in this one than she did in the other one. So, there's that. So Nancy Mace, one of the only people who actually, on the Republican side, along with Boebert and Massey, who signed the discharge petition to ensure, I had to, Mia, I got flagged, to ensure that the discharge petition was signed, to bring it onto a vote on the floor for the Epstein Transparency Act. She's been the only one on here. She's been consistent in that take. It comes on Piers Morgan and talks about the names. Now, we've heard this multiple times. We've heard it from Massey. We've heard it from Garcia. We've heard it from Khanna, is that the names will shock us. And that's basically what she says.
But you would be shocked, Piers, that some of the names that I have seen that came across the DOJ in emails that the DOJ is protecting. And we're talking about people on both sides of the aisle. We're talking about famous people, rich people, people in power, prime ministers, former presidents, et cetera, media personalities that are named in these files. And that's why I say this is going to go down as the greatest cover-up, one of the greatest cover-ups in American history.
My only issue is that we keep hearing this from Democrats or from Republicans and Democrats that the list will shock you, the list will shock you. And you're giving them so much leeway. They are giving the administration and the DOJ so much fucking leeway about releasing these files and releasing these names. Right, Eli, also that. Would I be shocked at this point? I don't know if I would be shocked. But if we're going to be so shocked, fucking release the goddamn names already. The survivors have come out and said to do it. So don't use the survivors as an excuse. Do it. Release the goddamn names. If you're not going to do your job, DOJ, and investigate them and charge them, well, then maybe they just need to be publicly shamed.
And I don't believe the girls are actually going to see justice, which is why it's going to be incumbent upon people like Democrat Ro Khanna, Republican Thomas Massey. I'm a Republican myself who's willing to name some of those names in our committee work, on the floor of the House, whatever it takes, because this kind of thing cannot continue to go on. I want to give the next girl hope that when she comes forward, she won't be shamed. Her life won't be smeared in the Daily Mail or whatever the next press, is going to do. What they do to female victims and to children is disgusting because they're protecting their rich and powerful friends. But you'd be surprised, shocked even at some of the names in the file.
I agree with Nancy Mace here, or she agrees with me. It's disgraceful what we allow in way of victims in this country, what we justify for victims in this country. But she also sucks, right? Because you also have that bitch who supports. I got flagged, so I just fixed it before I got taken down, Ari, she supports a president who was found liable for sexually assaulting a woman. She supports a president who has been accused by 27 other women. She supports a president who openly came out and said that he likes to grab them by the pussy. But in this, I would agree with her. My only thing I would say is release the list. Now, this is my last little bit on this. There has been some speculation about the fact that Pam Bondi has a subpoena out from Congress, okay? She needs to come and testify in front of Congress again under oath, where they can get her. And I think James Comer is kind of trying to find a way to get her out of this. And especially now that she is no longer the AG. Well, I've already, Ro Khanna's already talked about this, whatever, but I think it's better if you hear it from a Republican's mouth that she's not getting the fuck out of this at all, because the subpoena is for her name, not her title.
A committee spokesperson, Congresswoman, had told CNN just last night that the chairman, the plan after the news was that the chairman was going to speak with members about the status of the deposition subpoena and confer on next steps. Have you talked to the chairman yet about those next steps?
I have not yet, but I made my point very clear yesterday when I issued the subpoena that was voted on by the Oversight Committee a number of weeks ago. We did it by name and not by the title of the Attorney General. So she's still compelled and required by law to come before the Oversight Committee. And at this juncture, I'm not backing away from that or backing down from that. I do believe the handling of the
See, there it is in the YouTube chat. I know if you're not in the YouTube chat, you can't see it, but that's exactly what we're talking about. Even Republican Nancy Mace. You guys don't care that she's a Republican when we're talking about this subject specifically. You actually get off the team sports train that you're brainwashed to be on, because you guys are also misogynistic. You guys also love the patriarchy, and so you are going to go against her even though she is a Republican and votes with you on everything except this, who was a victim of sexual abuse, because you are going to defend the harm of women and children because you don't care. Just proving the point.
Files was done in a very poor manner by her and her office. And there are still questions that she has answers to that are very serious and has information, I believe, that'll be important to the committee. So I'm moving forward. If I could still have the majority of support from the committee, it won't be just me. I have to have the support of my colleagues on both sides of the aisle to move forward if the chairman wants to try to quash it.
So it sounds like Pam Bondi's going to have to testify regardless, which I wasn't questioning. She's going to have to go in and testify. Let's see. Let's go to some corruption. Got the CBS News reporting, which was an interesting report. Justice Department says law requiring president to turn over records at the end of administration is unconstitutional. The Justice Department said that a federal law enacted in the wake of the Watergate scandal that requires the president to preserve certain documents and turn them over to the National Archives at the end of his administration is unconstitutional. The opinion from Assistant Attorney General T. Elliott Geiser, who leads the Office of Legal Counsel, concluded that the Presidential Records Act exceeds Congress's power and, quote, aggrandizes the legislative branch at the expense of the independence of the executive branch. I'm not going to pretend to know what that word is, so let's look it up. I'm not even going to pretend. Increases the power status, so it would increase the power of the legislative branch, which would be their argument is it is exceeding it. Geiser, who clerked for Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito, I'm shocked, wrote this as a result of his determination that the Presidential Records Act is unconstitutional. President Trump does not need to comply with it. Quote, the PRA is not a valid exercise of Congress's Article 1 authority and unconstitutionally intrudes on the independence and autonomy of the president guaranteed by Article 2. The act establishes a permanent and burdensome regime of congressional regulation of the presidency untethered from any valid and identifiable legislative purpose. The Office of Legal Counsel decision on the constitutionality of the records law was made public Thursday and first first reported by Axios. The Presidential Records Act was enacted in 1978, 4 years after President Richard Nixon's resignation. The law established that presidential records belong to the U.S. government, not the president personally, and must be preserved. When a president leaves office, the Presidential Records Act requires material to be turned over to the National Archives, which maintains the documents. So this is going to be interesting because, again, it's a law that established this. So this is just somebody within the DOJ deciding this. It's going to go to court. It's going to fucking go to court. When a president leaves office, the Presidential Records Act requires material to be I read that. The measure governs the records of the president, vice president, and certain parts of the executive office of the president, like the National Security Council, and sets out requirements for the maintenance, access, and preservation of information during and after a presidency. Under the law, the White House must preserve material relating to certain political activities and information regarding the president's duties, including emails, text messages, and phone records. But it excludes the president's personal records, which are documents of, quote, purely private or non-public character. Sure. The Presidential Records Act has no enforcement mechanism, but Mr. Trump repeatedly invoked the law. Here's going to be the funny part. They're trying to get rid of it for him, even though he used it to defend himself. Repeatedly invoked the law after he was indicted in 2023 on charges stemming from his alleged mishandling of sensitive government records after the end of his first term in January 2021. We'll get back to that in a minute. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Yes, it's 27. I'm now in the state of Colorado, and I did vote for Trump in 2020. I regret it. And I just want to ask Republicans this one question. Why do you vote, or why do you continue to support the President of the United States and won't evoke the 25th Amendment to get him out of office when he's fighting a war for the Jewish people who hate Christians?
God, that's not true. They don't hate Christians. Are you okay? You guys are not well. You're not okay. Jewish people don't hate Christians. What do you think your Bible's based off of? I know, he's going to have a tough time here. What do you think your Bible is based off of?
I love the Lord.
Hi, Ruben. Have I seen the way they treat Christians? No, do you have an example? Oh, you can tell me in a little bit. Bye, Ruben. Guys, make sure we're completing out our goals here. I have 42 left in the goal today. I would appreciate if we could get that knocked out of here before the end of the live. Okay, let's go back to this. Yikes on bikes. In a case pursued by then Special Counsel Jack Smith, Mr. Trump was accused of keeping classified documents at a South Florida resort, Mar-a-Lago, after repeatedly rebuffing demands from the National Archives that he turn them over. Mr. Trump denied any wrongdoing and claimed that he was allowed to keep all of the material under the records law. Remember, that was his defense. His defense wasn't that he didn't have them. Oh, God, I don't have it. Why don't I have it on the screen? Sorry. His defense wasn't that he didn't have them. His defense was he was allowed to have them. Why was he allowed to have them? Because of the Presidential Records Act that they are now trying to undo. The case eventually ended after he won a second term in the White House last November. Right, the case was stalled. This case specifically was assigned, because it's random. It's random, I will say that. But there's not a lot of judges. It was randomly assigned to Eileen Cannon, who was a Trump appointee, big Trump fan. She helped delay it, but also just the delays in and of themselves. When he won the presidency, we don't prosecute sitting presidents. So that case is just null and void for now, pretty much. I'll keep reading in a minute. Hold on. Sorry, gotta do this. Where the hell? Let's do that one. It's corn. That one. The Office of Legal Counsel provides the president and federal agencies with advice on legal questions, and its opinions bind the executive branch. But if a court reaches a different interpretation of a legal question, that determination prevails. So again, this is like they can internally say what they want to about this. This doesn't really change what the actual law is as of right now. But it is interesting. That's something he used to defend himself. He's now going to try and undo. They're just trying to make it easier for the president to do whatever he wants. And then again, here is Todd Blanche. This could have gone in the Todd Blanche section, but I thought it fit better in the corruption section, which is talking about the fact of the reported frustration of the president, Pam Bondi, for the fact that she has failed to prosecute Donald Trump's perceived political enemies. Poking, thank you so much for that gift. I appreciate it. That was super cute. Little doggy. Little walking doggy with sunglasses. Thank you so much.
Okay. The president reportedly, probably obviously frustrated that the cases against Tish and Schiff and Brennan and Comey not really going anywhere. Are you the guy that's going to be able to get that done?
Look, I think the president is frustrated. Everybody is frustrated because what we saw happen for the past 4 years is unforgivable and can never happen again. And so certainly I don't mind the frustration. I appreciate the frustration because we do have to make sure that what happened for 4 years never happens again. And we don't talk about investigations, but I can tell you that the Department of Justice is working hard every day. It was working hard yesterday, and we're going to keep on working hard tomorrow. And I'm honored that President Trump has asked me to step in as acting, and also much appreciative for what Pam Bondi did for the past year.
I mean, you get the anger. I mean, what Biden and Obama did to this president. You understand there's a lot.
What did they do? What did Obama do? Obama wasn't even in office. What did they do? What'd they do to him? Maybe he should stop committing crimes. What did he do? Yeah, hurt the orange man's feelings.
A lot of anger about that, right?
Not only do I understand, I lived it, Jesse. You don't forget, I was on your show the night 2 years ago, the night that President Trump was found guilty in Manhattan in the middle of the lawfare. So I do not...
Not middle of the lawfare. It was the fact that he broke the fucking law on 34 separate instances. He broke the law. That's it.
I need any kind. I had a firsthand accounting of what happened, and so yes, I understand it. The American people understand it, and I know that the American people expect that it will never happen again, and we take that seriously.
Yeah, you fought that case hard.
It'll never happen again, but what we're gonna do is go after the people that we think went after him, even though they were just doing their jobs. And then back to the guy I showed before who was like, I don't understand why they would fire that general. He was fucking brilliant. He's going to come here and glaze Donald Trump's taint the way you guys all do, by initially saying that Donald Trump was not convicted of anything. It's not fair to hold Donald Trump accountable. He's going to say that he wasn't convicted of anything and then actually change that perspective to say not decisively, which I don't even know what the fuck that means.
Seeing this, I mean, Jim Jordan, when he took over as chair of judicial, everybody's looking for the scalps. It's not as easy as it sounds. There is a long process. That's why President Trump was never convicted of anything that they did, at least nothing decisively. And this is what the
Nothing decisively, except for the unanimous jury on all 34 counts, right? Except for that. I think that's pretty fucking decisive. Because you don't get a felony count off of a non-unanimous jury. What? The cope, the pretzeling for this big fucking unhealthy orange clown, Kankles McGee, is wild. Can you guys be conservative Republicans that actually have conversations on policy without Donald Trump? Can you do that again? Are you guys going to be capable of coming back to that? Because he has destroyed what the Republican Party was. Your only job. He's not serving his people as a representative. He's serving Trump. He's not supposed to do that. But that's all that this is now. Come on to Newsmax, come on to Fox, come on to CNN, come on to OAN, come on to News Nation, and make sure that you glaze Donald Trump's taint.
The litigation process is all, but it's very slow. It's designed to protect everybody, whether you be the President of the United States or the lowliest person. I mean, if you've seen this...
Not decisively. It's a crazy comment. All right, got like 15 minutes left. Let's see what I want to do here. Ow. Excuse me. I might go over because I want to cover these two things real quick. Real quick, though, I do want to do an update. So, we went over the SCOTUS arguments yesterday. We played the SCOTUS arguments yesterday and how it did not go good for the government, which is probably another reason that Donald Trump was pissed off yesterday. But we brought up the specific clip from John D. Sauer talking to Chief Justice Roberts, where Sauer brings up what is called birther tourism, okay? And he said their reporting is there is over 500 birther tourism companies located in China. And what that means is that you pay this agency to set you up with a visa to come over here to purposefully have children here, to have your children stay here and for you to stay here. Now, would I consider that a problem? Yeah, it's legal. It's legal for them to do that. We don't really have restrictions on that, and maybe we should have more regulation and restrictions on specific visas that are coming from China that we have an idea or an inkling might be birther tourism. I think that that's fine. You can absolutely do that. Thank you, Lady Foxtrot. I appreciate that. It's okay. Just make sure that you liked the live while you're in here. We could tighten that ship. So we talked about that, right? Because that was that clip where he said 8 billion people could come here and claim, under birther tourism and claim birthright citizenship. Chief Roberts was like, well, what about the Constitution? He says, it's a new world. He says, yes, but it's the same Constitution. I have an update on that in way of the birther tourism. So we're going to talk about that. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
Oh,
what country are you calling from?
So I did not vote in your politics. But I do find it hilarious that because of your politics, I'm paying $4 a litre for diesel.
It's bullshit.
Fuck your president.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I apologize as a United States citizen.
Reagan turned the White House into a trap house.
That's true. That's fucking true. Well, I appreciate you, and we're trying. I hope it gets better. I know that it's affecting you guys even more than it's affecting us, and it's affecting us. Fuck that guy. I agree. So, Chief Justice Roberts said, yes, it's a new world, but it's the same Constitution in way of birther tourism. So this was posted. I have a post within a post because the original post posted this 2-minute clip, which we're going to watch, from a 2013 CBS reporting on Chinese birther tourism. Because apparently it's been a prevalent issue for a long time. However, take note of the year, 2013, and we're going to listen to it, but they cut it off at a very specific point. But luckily for me, I know how to find the original article. Not the whole video, but I have the original article, and I'm going to show you what they left out. So this is an update on the birthright citizenship case in way of birther tourism.
Her name is Ada Lynn. She's 4 months old and the only American citizen in her family. Her parents, who agreed to speak with us if we didn't show their faces, traveled from China to Los Angeles so Ada could be born in America and claim U.S. citizenship. I want her to live a happy life, her father says. The family is back in China now. They're among thousands of Chinese who become so-called birth tourists, staying in maternity hotels near Los Angeles. These hotels are often single-family homes in quiet neighborhoods.
Not here, not anywhere.
At least 2 are in Chino Hills, California, where residents are annoyed at the frequent comings and goings. Chino Hills resident Rosanna Mitchell.
Why does this offend you?
When people think of the American dream, they're not thinking about birth tourism. They're thinking about people who come here, immigrate here, work hard, pay their taxes, become citizens.
Apparently, they're not thinking about that either. This was 2013. Apparently, they're not thinking about that now either.
And become Americans.
Ada Lin's family paid $27,000 to a Chinese agency with a website that advertises the advantages of giving birth in America. The agency helps arrange U.S. tourist visas, lodging, and medical care. The practice does not violate federal immigration laws, but it gives Chinese parents the option down the road to have their American children attend U.S. universities or live here. The Lins say having Ada in the United States allowed them to get around China's one-child policy.
That's the part that the person who posted this tried to leave out. 2013. One-child policy did not end until 2015, 2016. This was legal, Unc. We're talking about legal. You can disagree with it, but birther tourism is legal. They paid for a visa and had a child here. But this is the part that the original message tried to leave out. Children were being killed. Children were being abandoned. That's why you have such a huge swath of young girls in the foster system in China. Because you could have one child, and it was better for your family to have a boy. So children were being abandoned and children were being killed. Now, I want you guys who have been hate watching on YouTube to remember that as you're about to get really angry in your fucking xenophobia, because you guys were just yelling at me earlier about why we need to go bomb Iran and the Iranian people because of how bad Iran was treating their people. Do you agree with the one-child policy that did not end until 2015 or 2016? These people were trying to escape that. So they came here legally to do it.
Restricts most women from giving birth to more than one child in China. The Lins say that restriction does not apply to Chinese who give birth overseas. This hilltop home was converted into a maternity hotel that housed as many as 30 pregnant Chinese women at a time. It apparently didn't break immigration laws, but local officials managed to close it down, Scott, for violating building codes.
John, thank you very much.
Interesting that they like to try and leave that part out. So I had that, and I'm just going to show you because it said the same thing, but I found the actual article because I like to do that. Again, January 20th, 2013. And here's the actual articles. You can read it for yourself. Again, these all get posted into my live outline at the end of the show when I finish. I would like to go through this economy stuff real quick. I'll go over jobs tomorrow. I know that the jobs report came out better than they suspected. There was a strike that ended, things like that. We'll talk about that. Or not tomorrow. Jesus Christ, it's the weekend. Next week. But here is the trade representative is going to be asked about how it was a year since Liberation Day yesterday. And that the polling on U.S. confidence in Donald Trump's capabilities to be able to do trade effectively are bad. They're not good. And he's going to say that there's facts that we have not been given, which is interesting.
Is Liberation Day, right? It is 1 year.
Well, Lady Foxtrot, you might work on the weekends. I just don't because I have my children. I'm a stay-at-home mother. My son is actually home today because he has a sore throat and he does not feel good. So he is home from school today, but my daughter still went to school. And I'm not a Catholic gaper. Why would I care? Or gapper. I'm not a Catholic. I don't care. But my children are home on the weekends, so I'm not going live on the weekends. Plus, I use my brother's setup. He would like to have his computer when he's home. Anyway, he does not have the measles, babe. Shut the fuck up. Shut up. So this is the trade rep. Jesus Christ.
Is Liberation Day, right? It is 1 year since.
So if you want to help a grifting stay-at-home mother, by the way, I'll just put that out there. If you'd like to help a grifting stay-at-home mother, I have 4-2 left in my goal. You guys can complete that with the Cash App, PayPal, Venmo in my bio. Thank you for calling the stream. Can I get your age, state, and who you voted for?
34 years old. I voted for Trump.
What state?
Did you ask something else? the name?
No, just your
Patrick.
your state you voted in. You don't have to give me your name.
Oh, sorry.
No,
yeah,
you're okay.
Nevada.
Okay. Why are you still supporting Trump?
I'm supporting him. You probably heard this before. It's more like he's the lesser of two evils. I don't think right now I would, like let's say we had like Clinton or something. I don't even know. Like if we had like Lincoln, Abraham Lincoln versus Trump, I'd probably vote for Abraham Lincoln. You know what I mean? Like I'm not like a diehard Trump supporter right now.
Sure.
He's definitely let me down on a few things, but I think he was the better choice over Kamala.
Sure. I would say that the lesser of two evils conversation comes into play when you're talking about when you voted, which is why I specifically ask, why are you still supporting him? It sounds like you're having issues with that. Is there things that you are still supporting him on? Although I would advise you to look into Abraham Lincoln and his actual stance on the slaves. He wasn't as good of a president as we give him credit for, but.
I've heard that. Yeah, I've heard that. So yeah, no, maybe like, so I don't like that Trump has only deported like 280,000 people. I wish that he had deported a lot more than that. I think Obama deported more people.
He did.
Biden
It was like
deported
3
more
million.
people.
Biden did deport more people too.
You know what I mean? Like-
how is deporting people going to help you as an American?
Well, the biggest thing is, so I work construction, right, my whole life. And what you see, and I'm a white man, so what you see is you have illegal immigrants coming in, and then you have bosses who only speak Spanish, and then they want to hire only Spanish speakers, and then mass majority of them are illegal. That
The
I
bosses
work with, and
are
then they
illegal
push-
or the workers are?
both, absolutely both. And if you wonder
Why
how that
are
happens,
you
it's very
turning?
easy.
Are they working for the bosses? Are they working for a company that you are getting contracted out of, or are they getting contracted and you work underneath them?
I worked for a general contractor usually.
Okay, so are you turning in the general contractor that is hiring these illegal immigrants?
No, well,
Why not?
no, I'm not.
Oh, so you're
I
okay
probably
with their
should've.
exploitation then?
No, you're right. I probably should be turning them in more. I think a lot of people are, kind of just accepting their fate on a lot of things, but.
Well, yeah, but then you complain about
the
you complain about the people who are coming here to build a better life for themselves and being exploited by working underneath the table and working for less money than what they would be paid if it was above board, but you're not worried about the corporations that are doing the exploitation. I think that's silly.
Well, I just wonder if you think it's less money to the illegal immigrant. Like, do you think that they feel like they're not getting enough money?
Yeah, of course, but they're going to do it because they want to provide for their families. I think that they should have a pathway to citizenship so we don't treat them like slaves and they actually get paid and benefits and have the protections that an employee would.
That's fair. But I wonder, a question for you is, do you believe that we should have immigration laws?
Yeah, absolutely.
So do you think that they should just come here because their life is hard in whatever country they're in?
It depends on how hard that life is, which is why we have a credible fear screening for the asylum process. And they have to go through court to prove how hard it is. And a majority of them actually do get denied. Our process is so, we vet so well.
So I don't know too much about this. Are there certain countries that are on the asylum approved list?
Yeah,
Like, can
and a lot of them
anybody-
have quotas for the amount of asylum seekers we are even willing to take.
Okay, I can, like, let's say I'm Mexican. I can come here illegally and then just claim asylum
No,
and get
actually, no.
arrested?
Mexico, we do not do asylum cases for because we have our determinations for asylum for Mexico. They don't fit it because their economy has started boosting so well and doing so well. They're not in complete turmoil. Like, yes, they have issues with cartels, but their society is not completely crumbling beneath them, that we don't accept Mexican immigrants to seek asylum. They would not be a country that's allowed to do so.
So who are the top 3 countries that we have illegal immigrants from? Do you know?
Illegal immigrants?
Like, what 3 countries come here the most illegally?
Illegally. It depends on what you're calling illegal, because asylum seekers are not illegal.
Okay, so if they come from Mexico and they don't go through the Port Authority, are they illegal?
Depends. If they can't claim asylum and they don't have a valid visa, then it would be against 1325 as improper entry, and they would be charged under that law. Or if they were found within 150 miles of the border, they could have expedited removal where they do not see a judge and they are just immediately sent back, which is our law.
Copy that.
And I don't
that.
have any
So
issue with that.
So like a quick Google search will show that Mexico,
Sure.
then Guatemala, and then Venezuela are the top 3 illegal immigrants that we
And
get.
Mexico was for
Um,
decades because they were in such turmoil. They're just not now, but yeah.
So I'm just wondering, so you think that they should be allowed to come here unvetted if they are in turmoil?
They are vetted. That's what I don't understand. Asylum seekers are vetted.
What is the process of vetting them for an asylum seeker?
Sure. So when asylum seeker comes over, whether or not at a port of entry, what they have to do is they have to make themselves known to a Border Patrol agent that they are claiming asylum. The Border Patrol agent will run them through what's called a credible fear screening. If they pass that with the border agent, right, who asks them a specific set of questions, but why they're claiming, and if they are approved to be found to have a credible fear, they are then given a court date where they will then go through the immigration courts to be further questioned and have to provide proof about why they feel like they are persecuted, or we've had examples of it where they have gangs are coming after their families. These are all hypothetical examples, but things that we have seen, and they go through the court system in that process. A judge would then decide if they are going to be granted or denied. They are either granted, or if they are denied, they then have 2 appeals that they can do to the immigration board to appeal that denial.
And let's say that they're granted.
Sure.
Do they have to go through the same process as people that have been waiting, on a list to come here? Do they have to learn at least 25% English kind of thing? Do
Where's
they have to know
where's that the law
con-
for any visa?
Well, the thing is that they have to take certain tests in English to become a citizen. And so
Sure,
just
to become a
even
citizen.
doing that
Sure,
test,
to become a citizen. But that's the thing, is there are multiple different kinds of status in this country. And even what we call green card holders, which would be legal permanent residents who are allowed to be here, they have to constantly update their legal residency, but they don't ever have to choose to apply for U.S. citizenship. A lot of them do, but they don't have to apply for U.S. citizenship. So they can just be legal permanent residents in the United States for their entire life if they want to. There are a lot of different type of statuses, which is why when we talk about immigration, we say that they quote unquote cut in line. I think that's disingenuous. There are multiple lines for immigration. They are just different for everybody, and they take way too fucking long. They're not efficient. I would agree with you on that, which is why we would need to fund immigration judges to make the process faster so people are not waiting as long.
okay, that makes sense. So an asylum seeker, isn't the mass majority of illegal immigrants in the country people who overstayed their visa?
I don't think it's a majority, because I think the last time I looked, it was 40 or 42%. But of that split, it would be the majority. Sure.
And how do you? I'm sorry, I don't know much about this, but how do you maintain your visa? What constitutes overstaying a visa? Do you
You're
have to
supposed to go
check-in?
in. You're supposed to go into the immigration office and update your paperwork, and usually there's a fee that you have to pay to update it, or you have to apply for an extension. It depends on the visa, right? So you have let's say you have the K1 marriage visa. A lot of people know that from the TLC show 90 Day Fiance. That one you can't really get an extension on. You have 90 days to marry the U.S. citizen to get a temporary status to try to then do adjustment of status. So what you're supposed to do regardless of the visa, though, is you have to apply within the immigration system to either extend it or to check in that it's time for you to go. I think overstayed visas are definitely a problem that we need to go after. I just don't see where we're getting a lot of restriction on going after overstayed visas.
Gotcha. So here's a hypothetical. Let's say I come here from Mexico illegally, and then I get, caught by ICE or something.
Okay.
Can I at that moment claim asylum, or is it too late?
Not from Mexico, but let's say you came from Venezuela. Yeah,
oh,
you could.
Oh, I see.
Do
Do you think
You have 365 days from the moment you enter the United States to claim asylum. So they have an entire year from the moment that they are here till they can claim asylum before they are then deemed like probably they would be deportable because they did not claim asylum within that amount of time.
So it's kind of like 365 days from your last detainment? Because it's hard to say when they actually came in the country.
And that's fair. Sure, that's fair. And I would agree that I think 365 days is a long fucking time. We could probably half that down to like 6 months just to start. I wouldn't have any issue with that. I think 365 days is a long fucking time before you can claim asylum.
Okay. So I think Trump and most Republicans claim 10 to 20 million illegal immigrants were let in by Biden. How many do you think came in?
Well, according to DHS, under the Biden administration, it is anywhere from 2 to 4 million. That is from the Department of Homeland Security.
Okay, which is like kind of the same as Obama or something. It's like it's not like a huge number increase, or is that a big increase?
No, I wouldn't say it's a big increase because as of As of 2022, we had 11 million undocumented immigrants in the country. We are now at about 14, 15 million. So it's not really that much of an increase of total of what we've had. We've had about 10 million undocumented since about 2000.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So my understanding is just that like I've worked a few jobs. I have a few other friends of mine who have worked, in construction, painters and such. And we're not necessarily all white, but we all are born in America for the most part.
Sure.
And we just have a problem with these contractors, like you said, who are hiring illegal immigrants for much less pay, and then we don't get paid. And then it kind of lowers the pay across the board. And then we have to go work in a warehouse, or we got to go get a dispensary job or something,
Sure. And
Because
I would say that you're
more.
right. What I would say your problem is going to be with corporations and capitalism. You have this Republican administration, and they never would. They're not advocating for raising the minimum wage, even though the wealth gap is increasing. What a living wage is versus what people are actually getting paid is getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and they're not advocating to stop that. So yeah, your issue is going to be with corporations and with capitalism. I just don't think we go after the people who are being exploited, who are willing to take whatever job they can get at this point, instead of going after the other people. I would rather spend our time and our resources making sure that these people can get the same pay as you and actually be what would be a free, competitive, capitalistic market.
Well, let's say hypothetically that the person that replaced me was an illegal immigrant.
Sure.
You would still want them to get proper pay, or would you rather them be deported?
I would want them to have
Personally.
I would want them to have a pathway to citizenship so that their hiring was legal. And if they got hired over you as a legal worker, that's just capitalism.
Yeah, I agree with that. But like what we're seeing is kind of like it's like, let me just use Mexicans for an example. Like, so like I have like a Mexican contractor who speaks Spanish and then prefers to hire only Mexicans, right?
Okay.
And because and they all speak Spanish, and very few of them could speak English. And this is anecdotal, but just giving you like examples from many different jobs I've had. And then they only speak Spanish, and then they expect you to speak Spanish, or you can't work the job. You know what I mean? But the original hirer, the hiree, the person that hired them, was an American citizen. They just preferred Mexicans because that's their culture, and they have loyalty toward that race. You know what I mean?
Mexican is not a race. Mexican is not a race.
Well,
It's the nationality.
You know what I mean.
Do
No,
I?
I'm not trying to fight with you. You know what I mean?
know.
Like Latino, brown person, whatever. So like that's who their like preferred hiring is. You know what I'm saying? But if you have like I worked for a white contractor, and so most of my bosses have been Mexican, right?
Sure.
Or Guatemalan. But I have worked for some white contractors, and what I'm noticing is the white contractors would hire black, white, Mexican. They didn't really care as long as you got the job done well.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But I'm telling you, and I'm not trying to fight. I'm just noticing that when it came with the Mexican bosses, there was a preferability toward Latino workers. You know,
Sure,
and it
probably because
didn't
they can.
seem
I would agree
fair.
that it's probably because they can communicate easier. What I will say is statistically that we see in large corporations is that if you have white men who are in charge, actually what they tend to do is hire other white men. They don't hire black people. They don't hire women at a rate. They prefer to hire white, which then in and of itself, I don't know if you realize what you're advocating for is DEIA. You would like DEIA to ensure that even if you have a Mexican boss, whether they are legal or illegal, although you and I would both prefer that they are legal, that is hiring, you would prefer that they have to hire on the merit and not on the qualifications of the language. You are advocating for DEIA. Welcome to the left.
I guess what I'm realizing is that most at least in construction, most people want to hire within their race, whether it's white, brown, or black. So I'm noticing that brown people do it too. They want to hire other brown people. White people want to do it too. So I don't think it's actually that you can say that white people want to hire other white people.
I'm not saying they want to. I'm saying statistically they do. I'm not saying they want to. I'm saying statistically that they do.
Yeah, and statistically, so do, brown people. They want to hire other brown people, and same thing with black people for the most part. That's kind of how it's been for, forever. People want to hire people that are, I guess, kind of like them and that they can relate with. And that sometimes happens when you hire within your race. I don't think it's an actually racist thing going on.
Well,
what
is it about white people that they're hiring other white people?
Well, I could ask the same thing about brown people.
You already said it. I could give you the examples, which is the language, the cultural understanding that comes within the Latino community.
That's usually the same thing with the white boss.
What is white culture?
Lingo.
What's white culture?
White culture is inventing 90% of all inventions, conquering the most land with only 11% of the population. Also, poetry, music, creation of classical music. I mean, almost
classical
80%
music.
of.
You don't know where music came from, do you?
Hold on. Well, it doesn't come from Africa. All they had was bongos and drums. So
the
classical
racism
music
is
actually comes
racisming.
from Europe. Yeah, sure. You can say that if you want.
I will say that because we know that that's true.
Let me tell you something really quick
Sure.
before you roast me.
You're roasting yourself.
white
I don't even just
people-
have to do anything. Just let you talk.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. So white people are the only race that cannot be proud to be white. But if I'm black and I said, we come from kings and we were kings and we created music.
What
and all
is
that, I
there
get
to be
praised.
proud
But
of?
A ton of things. Like I said, 90% of all inventions, the phone you're using was
Prove that.
invented by a white person.
Prove that
the home that you live
90%.
in.
Prove that 90% of inventions were invented by white people.
Well, let me just rattle off some things here for you.
Prove
The car,
I
the
would like
train,
to see.
the plane,
No,
the
I would
train,
like to see.
the automobile,
I would
the
like
gas
to see.
engine, the electric engine.
I would like to see.
I can go on
where
and on.
I don't need you to rattle. What I need you to do is to find me a source of a credited institution that cites 90% of inventions being invented by white people.
Well, I did throw that number.
Don't care, racist motherfuckers. I'm sorry that Hispanic people are better at their fucking job than you. You are crying about having DEIA.
We don't have culture.
DEIA. That's what you're crying about now. We want to get rid of the woke. Get rid of the woke. No more DEI. Except also, when I have a Mexican boss, he only hires Mexican people. And I really don't like it. Fuck off. What do you want? What do you want? What could you
The Western civilization shit is a crazy dog whistle.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Wild. How much does he know about the Roman Empire? I wonder. Jesus Christ.
Get you checking me out.
The English are a white ethnicity. Sure. I wouldn't be proud of that heritage either, maybe.
We have no culture. Like, I don't get it.
Hi, Eli.
Uh-oh, I'm in trouble.
No, it's probably my husband.
No. I'm gonna be good for once. I promise. So no, if you want to be proud and you're white, you can be Polish, German, Czech, whatever. The reason that we're proud to be black is because y'all motherfuckers stole it from us. Y'all are if you're celebrating white pride, you're celebrating your fight with the sun.
Look, the sun is mean. It's a mean motherfucker.
That ain't my fucking problem.
Hey, I'm Latina. I will burn and then I will brown. It's fine. Just takes a little time. Gotta
I
peel.
become a lobster, and then I become a really cheap lobster afterwards.
Oh, well, that's not helpful.
Oh, you're still ageist.
You know what? He's not wrong.
He's not
Bye.
wrong. Bye. Oh, shit. The Romans built amazing stuff. Did the Romans build it?
King Gucci's not real, so.
Was it them? Ooh, white people culture is sunscreen. Casey?
No, it's not.
It might be.
I don't believe it.
Thank you, Avi Tala, for describing exactly what I meant to Steve, who doesn't seem to understand what the fuck I meant, which is exactly what Eli came up and explained. It's not about being proud of being white. You can be proud of your culture, which is your different ethnicities underneath that. God in heaven. Well, I would stay after and finish this economy piece, but my son is home. I have to feed him lunch, so I can't really do that. Let me get my thank yous out of the way. We did not quite complete the goal on this Friday, which sucks, but you know, it's okay. Cool. We still got a lot of support, so I appreciate you guys for that. So thank you, Elle. Thank you, Justin. Thank you, Oya. Thank you, Mia, and thank you, Trademark. Thank you guys so much for your support today and getting us down here. What's for lunch? I'm not sure yet. I don't know. I would get food, but I feel bad since Sissy's not here, so I don't want to do that. Oh, well, he might have leftovers from last night, actually. My grandma got McDonald's after my daughter's concert, so I think he has leftovers. I'll just feed him that. What am I going to eat? I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to eat.
Well, I am going to tell people that I am going to do one of those fun music lives, but it can't go to me. If you want to send some to me too, you're more than welcome to do so.
The hell is LDEP Venmo? What does that mean? Oh, am I checking?
The Venmo.
Chicky, you're supposed to look me in my eyes when you finish. W Chicky for the $42 on the Venmo.
Jesus Christ!
Her message is capital letters finish. She's supposed to look me in the eyes. I like eye contact, and she knows this.
Jesus fucking Christ!
Okay, you can finish now. You can finish now.
Thanks. Did I meant to ask you.
Was that also allowed for me?
Yes.
Okay.
I meant to ask you did Steph ever get her song?
No, so I was going
Okay.
to say, Steph, you are in here. That was the song I was going to start with. So you guys can.
I have better service now.
Oh my God.
No, there's no men when women finish. Fuck off. Goodbye. Goodbye. You can bring it back up.
Not a man coming up here to cock block.
Right?
Right.
To get in between it.
Content.
No, because I just wanted to make sure. I was pretty sure Steph had not gotten her song yet, or their
No,
song
I was
yet.
going to do it yesterday, and then I just forgot about it. Elma Sandry is crazy Black Jesus.
What's wrong with you?
So, but no, I'll still do music live and the same thing, the $2 request and stuff like that. I'm changing some things up. I'm working on some other things. I think I fixed the audio issue. We're gonna see. I will need some testers to help
we're
me
gonna
out.
test it again.
Yeah, I hope I didn't break it.
Who the hell would want a child with you? My husband gave me 2. I don't know. Ask him.
But no, I will. I'll start getting that ready. I do have a different background, so I'm hoping it goes well. So,
Ooh, I like that.
I don't know, Steph. Are you in here? I don't know if Steph's in here.
I don't know. They were in here at the end of my live yesterday, but then I haven't seen them since. I don't know, babe. You know they'll be in my spicy links later. I don't know why they talk like that. Who would want to give a baby with you? Oh, new fan.
Oh, actually, it's funny.
That was
I
crazy.
have to-
Are you taking toes or no toes? I don't care. Oh, sorry. I'm being a delivery person right now.
Ah.
I'm taking my soldiers home.
Taking your soldiers home.
Delivery.
Not the army delivery. It's crazy. I mean, I know times are tough in the military right now.
Hey,
Damn.
I do logistics, so
I mean, it
This
counts.
is true. Yeah, it's part of your job.
So no, I'll do the music live again. We're gonna test some things out. I'm trying to find a different player so we can actually see the songs that are being played. But Steph, if you're in here, we started off with yours. Otherwise, I think I might do a power line again.
Yeah.
So
I liked it. Okay, well then I'll kick you off so you can go do that.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye both. Bye. Thanks for giving me eye contact, Chicky. That's just the way I like it. Thank you guys so much for being here. I appreciate you guys and your support this week. As far as I know, I should be on Monday. Unless anything goes wrong. But I should be on Monday. Maybe I'll put up my midterm Monday background, but we'll just kind of go over upcoming races for that next week, because I know that there is, I think, races on the 7th that we'll go over, and whatever other special elections and local elections are going on for all of the states that week. So midterm Monday, I will be back. And then on Tuesday, but again, there will be, yes, there is a Discord. It should be in the link tree in my bio. Try pasting it into a browser source to get it to work. And then you just have to fill out a verification ticket, WRNG. And actually, since I know you, and since you're in there, if you just put in there that that's who you are, you honestly probably don't even have to fill out the rest of the ticket. I'll just do that. Yet non sequitur. I get distracted. I have ADHD. Leave me alone. Well, maybe. I don't know. I will be back Monday, but it will still be open for debates. We'll probably do a little bit of news, God knowing what happens over the weekend, because this motherfucker likes to ruin the peace that is my weekends. But, there's that. We do plan to game this weekend, tonight specifically. We'll see. I don't do that on TikTok. I do that exclusively on Twitch. So if you go over and follow my Twitch, we will probably be playing Repo tonight. And you guys can come watch that if you want to. But other than that, I will see you Monday. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys so much. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care of yourselves. Spend time with friends and family. Drink some water. Do something for yourself. Just unplug every so often when you need to. This is a lot. It's constant. Haters gonna hate, and we're gonna keep doing it. Make sure we go and raid Olive over here on TikTok. Raid Olive, do a Monty raid. She's gonna do some fucking music fun, some little decompression time. And I will see you guys on Monday. Bye.